Yo, back on here again. Still working on the SaaS app. Basic progress. Pretty much stylized exactly kind of what I think I want to do in terms of mobile styling. I need to come in here and clean some things up, especially with some of these divs and cards and containers that they don't necessarily handle long strings the best. Instead of kind of like truncating like I kind of have them set up to do, they are kind of breaking out and pushing certain containers. I think it might have something to do with Shatsian, honestly, in the way that they may have some set up some of their classes. So I'm going to try to investigate that, and then I'm going to do some quick checking throughout my code to make sure long text does not break my layouts, because that is seeming to be an issue that I've been running to, I would say, fairly consistently with Shadsy and some of those components, and trying to find workarounds for some of that. I have figured it out in certain places. I just don't remember exactly how I did it. Um, so I'm gonna have to go reinvestigate that. But overall, I think you guys can see pretty much visually, I have it where I want. I just need to make sure things don't break when it deals with like long text. But visually, it took me a little bit to fully figure out how I wanted everything to lay out. But I think I got it to a pretty good place. Um, Yeah, I'm very happy with how it looks on mobile screens right now. I'm not mad at that at all. I do kind of want to decrease that. So let's go. Your content is maybe make that a little bit smaller. All right, cool. So, like I said, I got a lot of what I needed completed. Menus, the whole flow works pretty well. Also works pretty well with tablet sizing as well. So it's fully responsive to different kind of breakpoints as is, but I need to come in here and double check some of like these cards, particularly the cards. They don't seem to be respecting the widths of the viewport. So if it's especially for like a long string of text that you gotta kind of account for, it does kind of push the boundaries. Like this is fine, especially when you have spaces and breaks. But when you do one kind of like long string, it does mess sometimes with the layout. So I need to go in there and double check that. But as you can see, mobile, pretty good space. Pretty good space, I would say. Everything looks good, consistent, works as you would kind of expect. A little bit intuitive. Got the drawers for some of my menus, notifications. Well, good settings. All right, that's good. Dashboard. Yeah. So I mean, like I'm pretty happy with where things are. Like I said, I just need to come in here and make sure these aren't breaking, because as of right now, they kind of are. So let's clean these up. First, let's come here. Let's go. Give it padding of one. Um, let's go padding one. Cool. All right, so let's test this out. Come here. I'm gonna grab, for example, let's say typically names and titles are not more than 100, so I'll just do 100. That's a pretty good test. And then come here. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. All right. Let's go. Let's try on the. See, That's what I'm talking about. It works fine on my tablet sizing, but for whatever reason, on mobile, it's not. Like that's fine. If I come again, if I come to mobile though, why you check different sizes? Because for whatever reason, it decided, nope, it's not going to. Not going to respond. Because if I come here, yeah. So I get that. I get that normal. So I need to figure that out. All right. So truncate isn't working for whatever reason on this. So max width. I have a minimum width. Overflow hidden. Maybe break all. Let's try that. And then let's change this name again. Then nope. Pushes it out. It's a weird one. Break all. Minimum width. White space. Pre-wrap maybe. Try that. This is my div. Let's go max width 4. Yeah, nope. Going on. Now I could hardwire this into specifically limiting the amount of characters, but I honestly don't want to do that. That's bad kind of design because you can't fully control at all instances. And the best way forward is to kind of lock down the sizing of the container and let the words kind of do what they do. They're supposed to do, but it is not happening. So I need to figure this out. Whatever reason, it feels like it can push this out farther than it can. All right, let me come to here. Typically has to do with how this card is being displayed for whatever reason. Max 150. I got max width. Let's give you a minimum width too, just in case. All right. Max width. And just throwing pretty much everything at this to see what the problem is. Let's come here. All right, let's investigate this. Long text on mobile screens not getting truncated. issue. And also provided my index. All right. Let's see if that works. See if we can find what's causing the problem, because I don't really understand why this is not truncating properly. Let's go. In most cases, you're supposed to put like a minimum width 0, which I have, so I don't really understand why it's not responding to my minimum widths. And then let's just move it. And let's try this one more time. All right. I don't know why this happened, so let's see if we can figure this out. So annoying, these last little design issues that always kind of complicate things right before you're like ready to get things up. You start thinking like, oh shit, I didn't check for this, or and then you check for it and it's like, yep, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. And not all names and titles or text is going to be nice and clean and short like this. So like you really have to kind of check this out. Check. All right, looks like I had a typo. So you want to set, all right, so Shadcn, especially for mobile stylings, you want to set a minimum width of 0 on the card, because it otherwise it doesn't respect you know, your truncates or whatever you set here, and it just breaks your layouts. So quick little tip for myself and for others: minimum with 0 saves a lot of headaches. All right, so truncate's actually working now. Cool. So come back here, remove that. Next, I want to test my projects. Project name, come here. All right, description works, as you can see. So I think the name should also work. It does not. All right, minimum of 0, truncate. For whatever reason, line clamp seems to work much better sometimes, especially for text that is automatically wrapping, like descriptions does. But it doesn't seem to work. Let me see. Yeah, it doesn't really work on single line text. You get some weird kind of artifacting, whatever reason. I don't really understand why it does that, but so truncate is the way you want to go, especially for single text. But I think, again, probably the main issue is this not having a minimum width. So whatever reason, you got to set that. Let's come here. Let me give you, yeah. All right, so basically for mobile, honestly, for any kind of situation, you should automatically set a minimum width to 0. So what I'm going to do, instead of going through each and every line, I'm just going to add it to Shadcn's card component explicitly. So it'll save a lot of kind of manual testing. So let's come here. Here's my card, and it has no minimum width, so I'm gonna just set it on the card itself. Then let's see if it keeps it. Yeah, so it still remains truncated. So minimum of 0 on chassis and cards is pretty much a must. I actually don't understand why it's not there automatically, because things always break, especially on mobile sizing screens. The truncate doesn't work properly, but with minimum of 0 it does. So let's try this one more time. All right, workspace looks good. Let's come to, for example, let's come to task. I think it's dashboard though. I think it's, yeah, it's just my card. Let's see. Task, project name. Let's come here. All right, so I need to fix that, and then, all right, a couple things I need to fix. Wait, where am I? Organization task card. That's our project name. Badge. Test the title. Here it is. All right, that works for titles. Line clamp too. Let's not do that. Let's go truncate instead. Cool. Let's get truncated, and then all right, let's just truncate this. No line clamp as well. But let's leave a line clamp for this one. See how that looks? Cool. Another little thing that I noticed a lot sometimes is dealing with flexes where you maybe need to truncate. What I like to do, I'm gonna wrap this. Actually, let's go class name. Wrap this. No, let's go flex items, justify center. This should be it's a badge. Let's go shrink 0, and then let's maybe wrap you. Span, and let's put the truncate here. So class name, truncate, go flex 1. And then if I put some long text, cool. So when you're dealing with something where you need to like kind of justify between, or using a flex where you have two different elements like this, you want to set the var1 basically to shrink 0 so it doesn't get pushed off the container. It will if you do not. And then you want to put the truncate exactly on the text. So then add a little flex 1 so it fills up the entire space as well. All right, so I got tasks. Those look good. Use the same card, and then same with the projects. Yeah, so all these use the same cards on the view, so I don't need to touch that. Do need to check invitations. come here. Let's see, who did I invite? Test 4. All right, let's log out. I will ultimately probably hide the headers on all of these auth routes. I like to have them be full screen and with no distractions, so we'll see about that. But all right, so here's the invitation. Let's test this as well. Dashboard. All right, let's card, and then where's my time? Organization name is flex. Truncating. Let's see. All right, so that looks good. And then actually, let's double check tablet. All right, so as you can see, it's a little offline on tablet. So what I typically do is come here. Where am I? It should be, all right, so this is all flex row right now. So I'm gonna do flex column. Here. I don't know why it's there. Flex column. Medium is flex. Between items in. That fix it. All right, yeah. So that gets it kind of lined up properly for medium-sized screens, and then I probably need to change it when in terms of no media queries is, it's not bad actually. Media query, maybe go large on item center. Let's see. All right, cool. So for that, I'm going to do that. And then there it's item end. And then for small, it should be like that. All right, cool. Matter of fact, let's all right, let's actually center that in terms of mobile screens. So here's this, flex 1, flex. Space 1, space. All right, so let's go flex column items center and our medium start, and then flex. No, actually, I don't need the flex column. Let's go here. I'm sorry. The item center, it's justify center. Is it not? Because this is flex column. Flex. Interesting. Why is that not? 1000. Maybe just text. Not quite. Next item center. I have all these flexes necessary. All right, flex one, mania, flex one, space one, enter. All right, so that worked. I know what I want now. If I come to tablets, all right, so that needs to be changed. So, in fact, it should be items. Cool. Come here. Item center. Centered on mobile screens, but then align to left on tablets is what I'm looking for. And then if I remove this, it should still have the same. All right, cool. Come back. Invitations should be. Actually, I might need to change that because I forgot. No, that works actually. All right. Keith, what up? Let me use it. I'm trying to, man. I'm trying to. I'm definitely getting there, but I'm trying to get there. Should be there. Should be actually the live version probably up within next week, I'll say. I don't like the small buttons. Let's go orange. Let's go to iPad Air. All right, cool. And then let's remove. Come here. Centered. Come here. I'm cool with that. And then I come to mobile screens. All right, cool. So invitations look good. Song out. All right, let's keep testing these. So all these cards. All right, I fixed the cards, I believe. Let me check the one more thing. Let me check my project card is. All right, because if I change this right to a long string, does it work? Truncate, text, small, block, truncate, text, block works, okay. And then badge, it's not a flex, so. All right, let's check this, cool. So it actually does work, so I can probably change this one too. Block, doesn't get pushed out. Project name as well. All right. Doesn't break my layouts, so that's what I'm looking for. And then because of that, I'm probably gonna come in here and change my task now is. You said we need SEO live stream ASAP. That's probably honestly not going to come till next week. I got a lot of things I still need to clean up and fix, just the core features and the core kind of setup before I add all the SEO parts. But next week, stay tuned. Next week I will probably have that for you. I already have it pretty much laid out exactly what I'm gonna need to do for that. So yeah, next week I should be able to do that. All right, where my badge truncate is, because this truncate is text mode truncate. Where am I? Okay, flex one, that's why. All right, let's just keep this consistent. Let's come here. Come back. Still working, and then test out the new string again. All right, cool. Still works. You said you used 4.7 today and it drained my wallet in just 3 prompts. I am going to be broke if it goes like this. That's why I don't use it. That's why I don't use new models. I let them kind of get all the kinks worked out and then wait till the price comes down. You honestly don't need all that unless you're doing something extraordinary that needs all that compute. If we're just building basic websites and web apps, honestly, the cheapest model typically does a good enough job. You can always kind of go back in there and fix things as you need, but I stick to 5.3 right now because it's pretty cheap compared to Opus, especially on my VS Code. So I haven't tested it. I don't know if I will. Now at the current price it's set at, it's basically 8 times the amount of tokens to do the same thing that I can do with 5.3. So until that kind of comes down, I have no need. And I literally only touch Opus ever is when I need to plan out an entire new feature. And then after that, I just switch right back to 5.3. 5.3 does enough, especially if you know what you need to do. All it's doing is basically doing exactly what I tell it to in terms of implementing things or fixing small things that I need it knows to be fixed, and generally that. So 4.7, yeah, I can only imagine how kind of expensive that is right now. I'm good on that for a minute. All right, so then let's come here to my projects. My friend told it to audit his massive code base, and he's crying. Like, why would you ever do that? Like, hell no. Like, that's exactly when you burn through all your tokens, and that's when that wallet definitely gets hit. Audit your entire code base, especially something that's got like a lot of code, a lot of lines. Nah, I piecemeal it. Like if I need one specific thing audited, I'll do that. But I pretty much never let it audit my entire code base. The only time I ever that's a lie. The only time I ever let a agent audit my code base is literally right before I'm about to push it to live to do one last security sweep. I think it's worth the cost. Then is when I'm doing like a full on security sweep, like basically telling it to like act as a hacker and try to find vulnerabilities in my app before I do one final kind of push. But other than that, like I never let it touch every part of my that's yeah, that's crazy. Even if I can afford it, I wouldn't do it. Like, nah. I think the gain is very little. If you know your code base and you kind of wrote your code base and you had a hand in your entire code base, you never have to let your agent just go through your entire code base, honestly. All right, I'm cool with these. Let's leave that. I think this is. All right, let me come here. Project card. All right, title, name. Again, let's test this. You said the agent found 43 critical vulnerability. He pipe code the whole thing. I think that honestly, I think that's kind of like been hard coded into these agents. Like, think about it. Like, that's an easy money making scheme. Yeah, we'll allow an agent to vibe code your entire app, but it's for sure going to implement a ton of vulnerabilities that you're then gonna have to come back to us to fix those same vulnerabilities that we introduced. So we're basically double dipping, and we're gonna charge you for all that. Like, I low key kind of think it's manufactured to fuck up like that, because no way you should have 43 critical vulnerabilities in an app from the jump. It's kind of smart. It's kind of genius on that part. Like, if that is the case, that is kind of genius. Kind of like when they do, what's it called? Oh, what's the name for when they build these products to basically break down over a certain amount of time? Um, all right, I think I need to do organization note card is what it is. All right, cool. So then come here. That's my project name. Right, that works. Cool. Just making sure my layouts aren't breaking with these long strings. A very known kind of issue of Shadcn. So I already fixed that actually. So this is my task card. Let's come to card. All right, cool. Come to your projects. It's just my project card. Let's just double check this as well. Make sure it's not pushing my action menu out. It shouldn't be shrink 0, block, text ellipses, white space wrapping. I don't need that. I can just go truncate. Cover, overflow hidden. Again, don't need that as well. Truncate does all three. Come here. Make sure it didn't push that out, because that happens again with cards, but didn't. Cool. Descriptions are good. All right. Marco, what up? I'll tell you, you have 43 vulnerabilities for 6 chicken nuggets. I won't run out of tokens. I'll tell you, it's kind of smart. Like, if you control the agents and all that, you can basically tell it to do whatever you need it to do. And like, when people need to build an app, like, it's hard to believe that it doesn't know that it's introducing all those security and vulnerabilities. It's supposed to be like this super genius kind of program, right? So how's AI having 43 vulnerabilities off the back? It's kind of crazy to me. Get those tokens though, you know what I mean? You said I had the report of the 43 vulnerability, but not enough tokens to fix those. taking money from one pocket and then just putting it in the other. That's all they're doing. Like, pay us to introduce the problems and then also pay us to fix the problems. It's kind of a genius business model. Well, I'm not against vibe coding, but you should know your code. You should know your code. Organization task timeline card is all right. So let's go task turn card minimum of 0. Create that title. That's that title. No, that's not it. Let's go. Oh, that's my organization task card. All right, that's good. Notes are good. One of my clients. All right, I'll review. All that layout's good. Nothing breaks. Projects. Same card being used. Tasks are good. Notes, good. Let's make sure these client names don't break anything. clients. It's image client name. Come here. That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. So how do I want to do this? It's a table cell, minimum width. Couldn't hard code it. All right, so I am going to add a special function here. Create a I think I already did. Hold on, let me figure this shit out. I have a helper function somewhere. Don't think I put it in. All right, so I have a helper function. I don't think I put it in. Let's go active redesign. Where was that function though? I think it was here maybe. All right, let's come here. Let's come to index. Pretty sure I have one somewhere. Let me see what I can find out. Whatever this to do. Here it is. Here it is. Project messages. All right, let's take this out and then slice this not. All right, can you a universal helper function to truncate characters, place it in my utils file. All right. Don't know why. I remember why I did like this. Try not to. All right, so truncated it. Let's go here. Let's go to sender display name. That's what I did. And it's you. And then come here and all right, let's change you to all right, so that's why I did it. So it pushes out my action buttons, but if I come here and I think I make this a block, I should be good. P is name div flex item center. Flex item center truncate. And then in shrink 0 should be that. I don't know why. You said I look like a famous tech YouTuber. I don't know who that is. I don't know who you think I look like. I'm gonna be honest. I don't be on YouTube watching people like that. So I couldn't tell you. Flex item center gap 1 truncate. Just the between. I do need the flex to get them in line. Truncate. the shrink 0 should be. Oh, let's do this. Let's go flex 1 maybe. No. Where's div? Minimum with 0. Flex group. Let's put you here. This don't want to work. Nope. Flex shrink 0 is there. Truncate is there. Both don't want to work. All right, so I'm just going to use this. All right, here's my little helper function, truncate characters, and you can pass it the value and then the characters, and you can change the suffix. So I'm gonna do that, and then I needed that for what? All right, so I needed it for the clients right here. All right, so let's do that. Okay, characters is what it's called. So, all right, so client name or client name. My max characters is 24. Let's go. Let's go 12. Let's try that. All right, that's better. All right, so I'm gonna use this also for all my tables. I'm gonna pretty much use this, and then come here, set 12. Let's go maybe 20. The max is set to 24. Let's go 20. All right, that works. And then let's come here. Let's remove you back. Name. And let's do the same thing for this. Let's go. All right, and that should fix any layout possible issues I would have with my client. And then also let's go to members. Just do the same thing for members. All right, so that should fix any potential layout issues. And then do the same for invitations, I guess. No. Okay, 20. No. Oh. All right, cool. Think I got most of my potential layout problems on mobile screens kind of figured out. Not obviously you're not gonna be able to catch everything. Maybe I will catch one that I wasn't expecting, but right now things pretty good. Settings is fine. Come to dashboard again. That looks good. Go to settings. Also looks good. Notifications already has truncating going on, so I'm not worried about that there. Same. Already got truncating. All right, so I'm pretty. All right, I'm looking pretty good. So then I think I know one spot I need to fix, and that is my project form. Yeah. All right. Grim Hooper, what up? All right, so let's come here. I think I actually put it into its own modal finally project. Yeah, I did. So here it is. Project name. So let's come here. Let's check this on tablets. I think tablets is fine. All right, tablets are good. And then come here to phones. That's what needs to mostly be fixed. So come here, let's go medium. And then as well for client name, client email. Project name, project lead, description, client name, client email. All right, that fixed that. Just make sure my other forms are good. All right, invite's good. Come to my actual projects. Create my new creation flow for just mobile. Good with that. Let's come here. Let's go to notes. All right, I'm good with that as well. And then if I come here and let's say I want to add a note to this. All right, that needs a quick little fix. Let's come here, come to P. That should be index. Project create note, project create form, and then let's go message if I remember correctly where I put that. And note, new message. I don't remember where I put this one, so I'm gonna go find this. Marco, did I do all the designs for that myself? Yeah, I did. I did. I didn't do all the components myself. The components I just used the standard ChatCN kind of library to quickly get up like headers and cards and buttons. So all the buttons and stuff, like I didn't do that. That is all ChatCN. I just went in there and added my own touches to everything. But for all the mobile styling I did, and for like all the kind of placements of everything, and like made a lot of small tweaks. Oh, actually not small, a lot of tweaks here and there to get it to how I want it to be. But in general, if you just use ChatCN, it typically can get you it can get you like 70-80% of the way there. So I didn't design like the components itself, but I did design all the layout, the flow, how everything kind of spaced and yeah. So I did majority of it, but the components itself, I didn't do. It's a headache to have to go in there and set up custom classes for each kind of component that you're going to reuse. So it just makes it so much easier if you can get a good library. I don't know what I'm looking for. All right, I know I'm looking for note to message is in my component somewhere. Here. Rounded. It says line clamp 2. Why is it not? It's not line clamping. Let's try that. Message, line clamp 2. Cool. 9. All right, last thing I know for sure I need to do, this isn't even that having to do with mobile, is I need to, all right, hold on, let me see, this is good. Make sure navigation works, because sometimes navigation gets weird with drawers, but all right, that looks good. Cool. Let's go to notifications. All right, let's check this. Cool. Come back here. Let's check this task creation real quick. Come to view. All right, that looks good. And then mark that as incomplete. All right, that ain't it. Mark is complete. Complete task. View task. Cool. Let's just check my notes real quick. Let's make sure my filtering works. It does. And then come to my notes real quick and check the reference one. All right, notes look good. Cool. You said it looks real good. I struggle with layouts and all. I think you have a hidden talent for front end. Yeah, I mean, I've said this a few times. Like in terms of like programming and coding, like I am definitely design first. I was the first thing I was good at with anything dealing with like any type of software development or coding, it was the front end. Like I just had a good eye for the design and like understanding brand. It also comes to branding and stuff. Like I just knew how I wanted things to look, so I was really good at getting things to look how I want them to look from a lot of years of doing it. So I'm definitely a much stronger kind of design forward type person when it comes to the coding and program side of things. And if I can visually picture it, I know I can make it. So if I have to sometimes before I can even like code something, I need to get the layout first and understand how I want things to look, and then I can kind of code from there. So I'm definitely design first. That's something that I can definitely agree with. Grim Hooper, what up on Kick? How did you transition from hooping to programming? It's been a long kind of journey. I wouldn't even call it like a full transition. I'm not fully retired from hooping, honestly. So I have been kind of programming and dipping in and out of it for pretty much a large portion of my life, just for fun, honestly, on the side, and just having my own websites and my own developing other websites for people and stuff like that. It's something I've always kind of done. My first, I've said this a few times, but my first degree when I went to college was going to be for computer engineering. And then I ended up switching over to just business management, and with a kind of side focus on the marketing side of things. But so I've always kind of been in and out, and I was self-taught kind of early on, and then I stopped. Obviously, as a professional basketball player, wasn't like my focus to be programming and developing things. And then as I kind of starting to get towards the end of my career and wanting to start doing other things, I fully got back into kind of development of programming and kind of relearning and teaching myself new things over the last like year to 2 years. So it's been like an ongoing transition, I would say, or not even transition. It's something I've always done on the side, but now I'm kind of slowly shifting my focus fully to this. If that answers your question. All right, so I know the last thing I need to wire up is a search functionality for my clients. So come here on the dashboard. All right, so my members has a search already here, but I forgot to add it here for my clients as well. So this should be easy for my agent to implement, as I already have set up the patterns. come here. Actually, where is it? Here. Okay. Can you wire up search functionality for my client's route as well? Keeping with how I wired it in my organization members route. All right, so it should be able to do that pretty quickly considering everything's already wired in. It's kind of just refactoring, copying, pasting, and getting all the properties and things that I need. It's just stuff that I don't want to go in there and do again. That's pretty much how I use my agents. I have stuff wired up kind of by myself at first and kind of get a pattern so it can kind of learn from how I do things and how I want things to be done. And then when I need to go in there and make additions or changes or refactors, it already understands what it is, and I give it very small context and let it does that. And honestly, that's how I save a lot on tokens, because I've had people ask me how much I burn on tokens. Honestly, I don't burn that many. I keep it pretty focused in terms of what I needed to do. All right, so here we go. Client search rank. Pretty much reused my member code that I already had set up, and then come down here, search query. I like, cool. Sending by search rank, cool. Return that search query and then wire up the actual input in the states, cool. And yeah, just reuse that. So, all right, let's check that out. Refresh, cool. All right, and then come to, let's just say, works, and then all right, cool. And then let's check this, of course, with my mobile sizing. So here's for tablets, that looks good. And then come to my phone, cool, and it should still work. Yeah, all right, that's good. So last thing I'm gonna do is, I know I've said last thing the last few days, but there's always one last thing. So I styled everything. I'll just go through everything real quick to make sure it's still looking correct. Actually, before I do that, let's do a full test. And before I do a full test, I need to also stylize my emails. That's the kind of literally the last thing I need to do. Right now, it's pretty much all plain text, and I want to give it a basic, decent look from the start. Let's go. I already kind of set up some earlier. Close you. Don't need you. Don't need you. Don't need you. Oh, I did need you though. Messed that up. Let's come. All right, get in the way. I'll come here. Here it is. Marco, he said he's a vibe human. The AI prompts him and does very little. I mean, I think that's kind of, honestly, I think that's a sweet spot for most developers, is if they can kind of set up their code and start implementing things on their own, and then just turn towards AI to fill in the gaps where you don't need to literally, basically what I used to do is just copy and paste, where you don't have to copy and paste everything and then readjust everything, and then hopefully you didn't miss anything that needed to be changed to keep it consistent. Like, if I can just fill in those gaps with an agent and he can do it, and it can do it in a very short amount of time with very little effort because it's already laid out for it, I think that is kind of the sweet spot. All right, so what I kind of set up before, I actually did vibe code this whole part. So when I do like emails, which you're kind of have to do if you're doing a full app, it's a necessary evil kind of part of it. Is I basically had my agent come in here and he did vibe code this part, basically set up an entire preview window for me to see how my emails look before I actually have to send anything, because it can be kind of tricky when dealing with email designs and email in general, because all different email clients do things differently, and the styles always change, and like getting the style properly is very hard to do unless you're going to continually send test emails, which I don't want to have to do. So to be able to do things on your local dev like this is what I would suggest, is creating a route that is specifically just for email previews, and I'll show you that right now. Come here, go to dev. So yeah, so it basically sets up this page that I pretty much use on all my apps, kind of like this, is an email preview page with all the different types of emails that you might have to send. And then it wired up a basically JSON kind of editor that you can do. You can basically live insert data that you're gonna get here in the email that you can consistently kind of change and test and whatever. And it gives you an iframe tester. So it kind of gives you an accurate presentation of what you might see in an email and how it actually might look along with a plain text version. So this is kind of how I go about it. I tell it to wire that up as a kind of, a sub route to get you a, quick iframe and HTML presentation of what your emails will ultimately look like. And then, so it does that, and then actually creates the templates for me as well. So that's not what my funnels are going to look like, but as you can see here, it created a basically email shell that you can come in here and update and change pretty quickly what your general emails are going to look like. So that's kind of how I go about doing that. And then it also gives me specific ones for each action that's actually going to send an email. So you can also come in here and change the text pretty quickly. So this is kind of how I do it. I think that's the best way to do it, instead of having to consistently just manually test over and over again. You can get a good quick email thing here. So also what I do, hold on before that, Grim Hooper, you said you're about to graduate with a computer engineering degree, and I'm hooping too. Do you think it's possible to balance both playing pro and programming? I mean, first of all, shout out to you. That's dope. Being able to juggle a computer engineering degree and hooping at the same time is something that I don't think I could have done, which is why I didn't even attempt to do. But that's dope. That's super dope. And can you juggle? So yeah, so shout out to you for that, because that's dope. Can you juggle playing pro and programming? Not full time. Not if you're gonna be playing professional basketball full time. You cannot be a full time programmer. Obviously, you can do part time. You can do freelance. You can still kind of work on your skills. And if anything, like I wish I would have kind of dove into it fully earlier and allowed me to kind of establish my kind of freelance side of things before I started to transition. It would have been nice to be able to do that. So you will have a lot of downtime as a pro. So you can definitely do a lot of freelance and side projects on your own within that kind of time frame, but you won't be able to be a full-time programmer, no. But if you can start that early on and you have like resources coming in that aren't relying fully on, your programming skills, that is kind of a sweet spot and an amazing kind of ability to have. So like I do wish I kind of started that a little earlier, but I was doing a lot of businesses on the side also, so I wasn't just doing just hoop. But yeah, can't do it full time, but you can definitely kind of like start to kind of build yourself up that way. And I think that's actually a great way to do it, because there's not so much pressure on you. All right, so like I said, also when I come to do is I like to get templates. I pretty good at like designing this entire thing out in just raw CSS, but if I can kind of skip it as much as possible, I try to. So I also come to this place called Be Free. They actually have a lot of email templates and builders that you can get and copy HTML. So I come here just and kind of look for ones that might work for what I want. Let's see. Automated emails, transactional. Let me see what they got. I want something simple, because these are just transactional, so they don't need to have a ton of headers and images and whatnot. I just want it to be a clean looking HTML presentation. And nice thing about these is that they're already kind of built in to be responsive, so you don't have to code all that yourself because Tailwind does not work when you're doing HTML emails. See, some of these have like too much of pictures, and I don't need all that right now. Just want it very simple. So I think what I'm gonna do, I actually saw one I liked. All right, I kind of like that rounded card. It fits with my overall design, so I'm gonna come here, start ripping some of this out. So I could keep these, but I'm probably not. So I'm gonna spacer. All right, that's fine. Let's delete you. I might keep this because I might add some text here. I'm not sure. Like a separator. Where's the separator? It's anyways, unsubscribe view. I'm gonna have to change this around. Don't have social yet, but I'll leave it, and then also I'll leave that. Mostly gonna need. So for example, hey, you've been invited. So something, just a kind of large font text is gonna probably go here, and then my description here, and then I'll have another texting here with the actual action button. So I think that's how I'm gonna approach this. Because let's come here. Hi. So I'm gonna have a text, and it's gonna say something's been finalized and approved. Project name. Most of this is gonna be in the actual card. The header is gonna be the actual action that's being, so like something's got completed, it's gonna be this. Text will be, all right, so header's gonna be that. This is gonna be on project, and then the actual body text is gonna be here. I think I like that. With that. And then you can view this in your notifications will be in this. All right, so let's rip this one out. Maybe. Okay, this is what I like. So I'm gonna put you here. Line option. Where's the background? Transparent, and then come to let's do that, and then let's just delete this row. Delete this row. Then in the row, I want delete this row. That's good enough. Quick enough to basically get what I need. So then I come here, export. I should be able to just copy this and then let me open my other editor. All right, actually, let's do this. Let's delete this one. All right, so I'm gonna give this my title. All right, let's go here. Goes here. Where's my rows? I need another row. Come on. Nope. Title goes here, and then copy the finalize approved. Let's go intro goes here. Let's go. Button goes here. Order is that not 40? Delete that. There's the duplicate button. All right, let's put you here, and then let's zero, and then where's the not all corners, more options. Here we go. All right, let's remove this column. Let's come here. Let's go footer. That's here. Let's add some padding to this. I feel like that's not fully aligned, but we'll worry about that later. Oh, that's why. Thank you. All right, so I got the title, intro goes here, body goes here, and footer goes here, and then this is link here. And I'll just leave all these two also own. All right, let's try this again. So let's copy this. I'm gonna come to my agent here and be like, hey, can you refactor my email HTML to be in line with this? It's a little cheat code, especially if you want like good looking emails, is go find one and just copy it and get the HTML and then feed it to your agent. And typically it does a decent job of refactoring or creating HTML based on this. All right, so as you can see, it added basically all those predefined CSS class or CSS classes and all that to the HTML builder, which should be picked up already into here. Let me see. Header, title, body HTML. All right, let's check that and see if it actually did it. It should have done it. So I come here. And yeah, as you can see, already here, pretty close to finalized. I'll probably change some coloring and fix up some other things and add some footers and whatnot. But in general, just like that, you can get a decent looking kind of mobile, kind of like a decent kind of email template to already kind of fix up how you want and set things how you need them to be. But just like that, I was able to take something I already kind of liked and then just reapply my settings to it directly. And that's how you kind of get a very quickly done, good looking email. There's a ton of templates out there, so not just Be Free, but there's so many other places you can go and figure out exactly what you need. All right, I could probably touch this up later. So new notification, onboarding app, only task marked complete. I want this to be here. And then I'm leave it like that. There's my intro and then website. And if I come up here, because I already have all these different things set up, I can literally see how they would look. This is a basically notification summary email. This is my weekly one, basically same thing, but you can see your change, approve your email change. And I'm pretty happy with how it looks, pretty smooth. Some linkage right here, and then cool. So just like that, I got a pretty solid starting point for my emails. I will come in here and definitely clean things up, but in general, pretty happy with that. I know my color needs to be, where is it? Body, background. Brand. And just like that, I'm able to, quickly make changes and fix things up how I need them to be and make it look good. So quick little kind of cheat code for people that don't know how to kind of do that with emails is you can literally use your agents to come up with some previews and just build email previews for you and build a whole email previewer for you, iframe and all. And this is how you can stylize your emails without having to consistently or constantly kind of like do live testing. So I kind of know what I want for the font. But I'm not ready yet, so I'm gonna do that. Hi there, you have been invited as an admin. Click the link below to accept your invitation. I want to make that into a button though. Did not, you can invitation links. All right, cool. So let's see if I can't tweak this a little bit. All right, here I am. Align face. So it's gonna be body. Let's find out exactly where this is. So this is my, and as you can see, this is how it kind of gets. This is also the mobile kind of version of it, so it's pretty responsive and gives you all that, and you can kind of tweak things continually there as well. So let's just see. Content wrap is it? So let's go. Text align center. It's this one. This is my footer. It's the same for you. Let's see what this button is. What I'll actually probably end up doing is changing this to F2. Where am I? No, we'll do that for now. And then find out this button is a meta. So let's come here. Background. Here, let's just do some live coding this one. So content wrap B. Just my other button. Let's get this. Background. Cool. Link. A. All right, I kind of like that. Do some tweaks though. Let's give you. All right, meta A should be. Just refresh, make sure that's good. Click the link below. I don't want this to be bigger though. And let's make this a little bit smaller. Font size 18. Let's leave that. Actually, let's do this. Go style maybe. No, let's do this one. Keep this one italic. So let's go font style on that one. Station links. Let's go here. Let's give it margin. So it's going to be 12. No. Go with. Let's go. All right, let's see if I can find those real. Margin should be 20 pixels. 0. Footer. Link, and then let's come here. Let's go. Notification body. No, it's invitation. Right, so let's go style. I think that's 18. Cool. Link below. Accept invitation. Okay, nice email invitation links. All right, let's not go. Let's just fix this. Let's go meta. All right, for example, let's see. You've been invited. Leopold, what up? All right, I think I got this figured out. I want to eventually add an icon there. All right, this button. Let's come here. You have been accept invitation. Where is it? Accept. Here it is. I'll call you that. Let's call you. Action link. Yeah, let's do that. And then an action link as well. Proof. All right, so then those will be meta, and then yeah, let's come here. Let's do this. Shouldn't be a change. All right, refresh. All right, so the buttons are appropriate now. Still. It's great. Now let's come here. All right. And this quick little fix. Where is it? password. Link, you've been invited. This link, this link. All right. Invited to join. Verify your email. The subject line like it is. Title though. Improve your email change. Verify your email. And this is notifications. We'll get to that later. And there we refuse request. Approve your email changes. Approve email change. Name with you. Out. Refresh. All right, let's check these now. Invited, bigger text, accept invitation as my link. This whole thing needs to be a link though. I'll do that later. This is invitation links. The next message. You can ignore this email. You received a request. We received a request to reset your password. Use link below to set a new password. Did not request a change. You can ignore this email. Boom. You've been invited to join. Blah blah blah. All right, let's reset your password. Looks good. Received a request. Where is it? All right, it's better. And then you're not you for security. Clean this part up. Footer wrap should be let's do that. Let's come here. Footer. Now this button is not a actual button. I need to change that. It's literally just a link. So I'm gonna take or start with project invitation. Okay, let's go to invitation. All right, so for example, this is actually a link. Let's just take this. Actual button. Now as you can see, it's not, but we can fix this. All right, let's come here. Okay. Matter of fact, let's do this. No. You. Right, block and then here. It's looking better. Let's maybe inspect this. Div. Actually. All right. Maybe do we display? Yeah. That's what it was. Option link wrapper. Cool. That looks way better. 20. Now the whole thing's a button instead of just a link. And then right, so the whole thing's a link, and then let's go. Let's change the font size maybe. All right, that looks good. Nice large button. Call to action, title. It's gonna be my intro. There's gonna be my app name, the actual information to join. Use the secure link button, invitation, the other text. Have a footer. Now I do need an actual footer with this down here with some links to unsubscribe or whatever, or modify your settings. And what is that bug clicked? Oh, I don't need to apply those same things to everything. So